Pat, the Buffalo Bills, what were you feeling like at halftime of a 3-3 game with Miami?
Look, I want to say they should be in there blowing them. Look, it was frustrating. I'll tell you what it felt like. It was like watching a Bills game from 2008, right? The thing that popped in my head was that Bills-Browns game where Roscoe Parrish at home fumbles a punt with 2 minutes left in a 3-3 game, and the Browns win 6-3. But it makes sense, right? Like, you had 2 injuries that affected everything that you were able to do. Your interior offensive line and your tight end, who is your quick release valve, right? Those 2 things combined made it really hard for that offense to run. It's not all that alarming to me. I'm glad that everything wrapped in. You got a nice backdoor cover, which was really cool with the Josh Allen. But yeah, I mean, it was the least enjoyable game I've watched in maybe 3 years.
You brought that up. What is it with that 2-point conversion that, like, essentially wound up as a push because Buffalo went into the game at game time a 15-point favorite, and they go for 2 and push the bet.
I think the Bills went for 2 because Miami went for 2 for no reason earlier in the game. They tried to figure out the math. It didn't make any sense to me. I honestly think that the way the game was going, it was here's my thumb, there's your eye. Because he's waving goodbye to guys after the 2-point conversion tries over.
I think they just wanted to prove me wrong. I predicted 15-point win, and exactly what they got is what they did, and they went to prove Tariq wrong. Well, listen, your defense amazing. And that's what's so great about this. The defense stayed the way it was. The offense, listen, you got to get it rolling, got to get it going. My biggest thing now is that don't play down to the level. This is what you were worried about last week. Mm-hmm. Playing down to the level of the competition of what you're facing. Miami, don't do it to Jacksonville. You can't go lower than Jacksonville. Jacksonville is at the lowest.
But then you got the Jets. You might have actually...
Which might have a little bit of a concern here. The Mike White week continues.
But the thing is, I think that's a real concern because it got 3 games in a row now. It's next to impossible to be at your best 3 games in a row against teams you think you just can handle.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too. McDermott isn't so much about coaching for a season. He's about coaching game to game, right? You look at the way that the offense was running in the first half against Miami. They were running the ball because they knew they were going to have trouble protecting Josh Allen. They were keeping the game close, knowing that at the end of the game, they were going to be able to go and win that game. It's the same way that they beat the Patriots first game of the season last year. It's the same way they tried to beat the Chiefs the first game of the season last year when they played them, and they almost were. I'm not alarmed by anything I saw in that game. Get Dawson Knox back. I love him. Brings curly hair back in. And let's go in Jacksonville and go get a win.
It's going to be fun to see Trevor Lawrence this week.
It will be fun to see Trevor Lawrence. I think the Bills offensively get out to a very early lead. The same thing I said last week. If you can get Allen out of the game, get Trubisky in, thank goodness you didn't trade him.
Don't say that again, by the way. Because you said that last week and all of a sudden, you're
not going to switch out. If Allen is healthy, he's going to play. But you want him healthy for a lot more games coming up. The Jets are coming up. They look like they want to get a little bit of resurgence. So I would just look at it this way. Go out there, run your offense, get your players in there, but don't get hurt in Jacksonville. Please, for crying out loud.
What are you doing? Why would you do that? Why did he do that?
I don't know. I have no control over what he says.
It's sports. There's no jinx, right? Right?
Well, they're 14.5. Are going to cover?
Of course they will. He has nothing to worry about.
Does that make it worse
or better?
I mean, 13.5, and it took a backdoor cover to beat Miami. You're on the road. Are they 17.5? By the way, that 14.5, as we're talking now, is still going up.
It is going up.
Right?
It started at 10.5.
Jacksonville won their first game out of the country, for crying out loud.
They did.
You don't think that this team, one of the best in the AFC, can beat them badly?
No, I don't think they could not beat them badly. I worry about a backdoor cover, and I also worry about the fact that we're going to get to a point where Vegas thinks that the Bills are 20 points better on a neutral field by the time kickoff happens. They win, no cover for the Bills.
What?
You heard me.
And you're a Bills fan?
Die hard. And that's why I know what I'm talking about, Tariq.
I agree. 14 seems like the right number.
Right?
You get 14.5 and you go to the bank.
We'll see you in 6 days.